Let us see our next question. X Limited is considering its new product with the following details. Life of the project is 3 years. Initial capital cost is rupees 400 crore. Annual sales is 5 crore number of units. Per unit selling price is 100. Per unit variable cost is 50. Per year annual fixed cost is rupees 50 crore. Discounting rate is 6%. The first question is calculate NPV of the project. Second question is find the impact on the project's NPV of 2.5% adverse variance, that is adverse change in each variable. Then the question says that which variable is having maximum effect, that is what we are required to identify. Dear students, over here basically we are understanding a new concept, and that concept is given a name as sensitivity analysis. What do we understand with the term sensitivity analysis? Sensitivity analysis means we are trying to test, we are trying to judge that what will be the impact on NPV with adverse change in each of the variable individually. Means if at all the initial investment increases, then what is the impact on NPV? If at all the sales is falling down, then what is the impact on NPV? If at all the selling price per unit reduces, what is the impact on NPV? If variable cost per unit increases, what is the impact on NPV? That is the way we are required to consider adverse. What does the term adverse mean? Unfavorable. So what will be the effect of unfavorable individual change on NPV of the project is required to be identified by us. Now when I say that it is unfavorable or adverse, it means that the initial investment increases is unfavorable. Sales units decreases is unfavorable. Selling price per unit reduces is unfavorable. Variable cost per unit increases is unfavorable. Fixed cost increases is again unfavorable. Discounting rate increases is unfavorable. Life of the project declines is unfavorable. That is the way we are required to consider each of the variable change individually. You don't worry, I'll dictate a note to you for that. The question says that which variable is having the maximum effect, and this is given a technical name as the most sensitive factor in the project. This is given a name as the most sensitive factor in the project. It has been given to us that you have to consider that there is 2.5% adverse change. It means that if at all the investment increases by 2.5%, you have to compute the revised NPV. Sales units reduces by 2.5%, revised NPV. Selling price reduces by 2.5%, revised NPV, and so on. Importantly, friends, over here, in case of sensitivity analysis, an assumption is made that there will be only one change at one point of time. Means only selling price will reduce, and keeping all other variables same, we have to make the calculation of NPV. Variable cost increases, keeping all other variables same, we have to compute the NPV. That is the way, taking into account the individual change, we are required to make the calculation of the NPV. That is what we understand. Which variable is having maximum effect, that we will discuss once we make this calculation. So we understand that over here, there are multiple times for which we are required to make the NPV calculation. So I suggest to do answer like this. Heading of this concept is sensitivity analysis. We will make the computation in this way, dear students. Column number 1 is as usual simple particulars, then expected NPV. Do not write anything, let me explain you. Then initial investment increases, then what is revised NPV that we will compute, then annual sales in terms of number of units. If at all it is declining, what is the NPV? Then selling price per unit. If at all it reduces, variable cost per unit. If it increases, then annual fixed cost. If it increases, discounting rate. If it increases, and one more, that will be the life. In case of the life, how to do answer, that we are required to understand it properly, because that is the only factor because of which we have to do some new working. Otherwise, rest of the things I think would be very simple for you to understand. Let me explain you further before you start writing down the answer. We can say something like this. Column number 1, in that, say I am writing the sales particulars. Selling price per unit is 100 and sales units is 5 crore. So this is an amount of 500 crore. Next is the variable cost. It is 50 rupees per unit. Again into 5 crore. That is 250 crore. Fixed cost 50 crore. There is no need to compute the depreciation because the tax information is not given. So this is the profit, and at the same time the profit itself is the cash flow. So 500 minus 300, that comes to 200. Next is PVIFA at K cost of capital for 3 years. That is over here, that is K cost of capital for n number of years. For 6% we have to calculate the factors for 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 2.6731, 200 into 2.6731. So present value of the cash inflow, it is 534.62. Amount of investment is 400 crore and NPV is 134.62 crore. This is the way we compute the expected NPV. Then the next column, investment, in that what we will do, friends, till present value of the cash inflow, everything will remain same. Okay, of course I am going to write it once again, and the investment will be 400 plus 2.5%. So taking into account this as 410 crore, the revised NPV will be calculated. It is 124.62 crore, and so on. We will make further working. Please take down this much answer and try to complete the next columns on your own. Okay, do the column wise working. Do not do the row wise working. Please write down answer for the working that I have written so far. So we understand that, say, initial investment, sales is going to remain same, variable cost same, fixed cost same, no text, so let us ignore it. The profit is going to remain same, annuity factor is going to remain same, only the investment is going to increase. After initial investment, I am writing the annual sales. in terms of number of units. Okay. So what will happen, friends? 5 crore minus 2.5%. So 4.875 crore. 100 into 4.875 crore. So 5 crore minus 2.5 percentage. And so on we are required to write. So we understand that say 5 crore minus 2.5%, 4.875 crore into 100. So it is 487.5 crore. Then 50 into 4.875 crore. 243.75 crore. $193.75 crore into 2.6731. So 517.91. Amount of investment will continue to remain 400 now. Okay. So be careful, friends. So NPV will be 117.91 crore. Okay. Next, after sales units, we have been provided with the selling price per unit. Okay. So we understand that it is 100 minus 2.5%. So 97.5. So 97.5 is the selling price into 5 crore. 100 minus 2.5 percentage. And so on we are required to consider it. Okay. So we understand that over here 97.5 into 5, that is 487.5 crore. That is the revenue. Next is 50 into 5 crore. So it is 250 crore. This is 50 crore. 187.5 crore. Into 2.6731. So 501.21. Amount of investment same. So 101.21. That is the way the NPV is calculated. Next is the variable cost per unit. So in that case, what will happen? This is 100 into 5 crore. This will be 500 crore. 50 plus 2.5 percentage. So 51.25 into 5 crore. So 256.25. That is deducted from 500. Further 50 is deducted. So it is 193.75. 2.6731. 517.91 minus 400, 117.91 crore. That is the way the NPV is calculated. Okay. After variable cost per unit, it is fixed cost. So annual fixed cost In that case, we understand that there is an increase in the fixed cost is a threat that we have. So sales is going to be 500 crore. Variable cost is going to be 250 crore. Then fixed cost will be 50 crore plus 2.5 percentage. So it is 51.25 crore. So it is 198.75 crore. Into 2.6731. So 531.28 crore minus 400. So 131.28 crore. Afterwards, the discounting rate increases. So the cost of capital 6 plus 2.5%. So the discounting rate will be taken as 6.15%. Okay, because 2.5% adverse, that we have to keep it constant. So this is 500 crore. This is 250 crore. This is going to be 50 crore. So this is 200 crore. 1 divided by 1.0615. 1, 2, 3. 3 years factor summation is 2.6656. 2.6656 into 200. 533.12. Minus 400. 133.12. That is the way the NPV will be calculated with the increase in the cost of capital. Afterwards, next is the life of the project. Now friends, over here, in case of the life of the project, we'll compute the NPV taking n is equal to 2 years. Why? I just explained that to you. First of all, let us calculate the NPV taking 2 years of the life. This is 500, this is 250, this is 50, this is 200, 2.6731, sorry, 2 years factor we have to take. 1, 2, 1.8333. 1.8334 into 200. So 366.66 minus 400. So negative 33.38. So this is the way we are required to compute the NPV. Now, in case of the life of the project, what is to be done further? Let us have a discussion of the same. So here is the NPV for each of the variable taking into account the adverse change. Now, as far as the life is concerned, how to do answer? Let us see. Life of the project 3 years minus 2.5%. So it is 2.925 years. So over here we can do working like this. Number of years and NPV. If at all the life of the project reduces just to 2 years, then NPV is negative 33.32 lakhs. Negative 33.32 lakhs. For 3 years, the NPV is positive 134.64 lakhs, sorry, 134.62 lakhs. Yes. So can we say that, say, if at all life of the project is changing by 1 year, NPV of the project will change by how much amount? Difference of these two. One is positive value, another is negative value. So the difference will be addition of both of them. 167.94 lakhs. What we can do, friends, we can do a kind of interpolation. So if at all the life of the project increases from 2 years to 2.925 years. So what is the increase? 0.925 years. So this much increase in the life of the project will have this impact on the NPV. So the impact on the NPV can be found like this: 167.94 lakhs into 1, sorry, divided by 1 into 0.925. So the answer for that comes to 155.34 lakhs. Okay. So we understand that, say, if at all life of the project increases from 2 years to 2.925 years, then in that case, say, this is the increase in the NPV. So NPV is equal to negative 33.32 plus 155.34 . So the final answer is 122.02. This is the way the NPV of the project can be calculated. So we understand that, say, with the life of the project, the means if at all life of the project reduces by 2.5%, this is the NPV. That is what we understand. Okay. Now the question speaks that which variable is having maximum effect. That's very simple to answer. We know that, say, every time we have thought about the adverse change. So every time NPV is bound to reduce. 124, 117, 101, 117, 131, 133 and 122. Every time NPV is reducing in comparison to 134. However, we understand that, say, it is reducing by maximum amount if at all there is adverse change in selling price per unit. So we can say that, so the selling price per unit is considered to be most sensitive variable for the project, because if at all the selling price per unit reduces only by 2.5%, it is having the maximum reduction among all the factors on NPV of the project. This is what we understand. So let us answer the second part. Sorry, in that write down further. Selling price per unit is most sensitive factor, comma, because it has an impact of highest reduction in NPV of the project. Full stop. Write down heading sensitivity analysis. In that, write down first point. It is a method of incorporating risk in capital budgeting, decision making. Second point, over here mainly we compute that what will be effect of adverse change on the project. Third, importantly, an assumption is made that there is only one change at one point of time. Full stop. Further, we assume that all variables are independent. Full stop. Fourth, selling price, comma, sales quantity and life of project reduces, comma, they are unfavorable. Full stop. Variable cost, fixed cost, and initial investment increase are adverse effect. Full stop. Further, increase in cost of capital is an adverse impact. Full stop. Next, the factor due to which there is maximum reduction in NPV is most sensitive for the project. This is what we understand.